Hi there, my name is Ellen and I will be doing this essay correction for you. I'm very happy to see that you've submitted a piece of writing for feedback. So let's get into this right away. I believe, even though you didn't write the prompt in your email, that the topic is international marketing. So let's take a look at what you wrote here and see how you did. Every human being is impacted by the consequences of the inevitable advent of globalization, followed with spreading ideas and cultural diversity, as well as with the rise of the global language. However, is this the case with another result of the process of uniting nations in the world, global marketing? I am a strong advocate of supporting this economic process, and my essay will cover both the advantages and disadvantages, as well as supporting examples from Poland's history and the American culture. Okay, so the good news is that you've included all the elements that you need to in an introduction. You stated your position, and that's really important. And the general structure of it, from general to specific, where you actually include your position, is absolutely appropriate. So that's good. What I would like to change is some of the sentences. They are too long and a little too unnecessarily wordy. Okay, so you really could have written the same ideas, also using, really nice extended advanced vocabulary and grammar, but it could have been more easily read. And that's really important. You got to remember that the examiner is going to be reading in some cases, up to 100 essays per day, believe it or not. And so it's important that the examiner is able to read your sentences the first time through and understand them. Okay, you don't want the examiner to have to read something a second or third time to understand your meaning. Okay, so while I'm not saying avoid advanced language and avoid advanced grammar or advanced vocabulary, I am saying that sometimes writing less wordy and maybe simpler sentences is advised. So let's take a look at what I mean here. Look at this first sentence. Every human being is impacted by the consequences. I would have never said this, of the inevitable advent of globalization. First of all, advent means the beginning. Okay, correct? So it's not inevitable. Okay, so this is just words really with no particular, they don't add any particular value to this sentence. Okay, so you could have simplified this. Every human being is impacted by the consequences of globalization. And then what did you mean here? Followed with spreading ideas and cultural diversity, as well as, so all of this became very heavy, followed with, as well as. So I took this to mean that you were trying to rephrase the language in the prompt, but again, it was just too heavy, too wordy, too difficult to follow. So I really would have liked to see this rewritten. Okay, and there are a million ways to do this. So I don't imply that, any particular way that I will suggest is the best. There are lots of ways to do this, but aim for clarity. Okay, I used the word simple before, but clarity is really the aim, and sometimes simple is clear. Okay, so let's go on a little further. However, is this the case with another result of the process of uniting nations in the world, global marketing? Again, I felt like this was a little too wordy. Okay, so you could have said something like, however, is this the case with a product of globalization? That is global marketing. So that's a lot cleaner. It's a lot cleaner way of saying pretty much the same thing. Okay? And then the last sentence was fine. So let's move on. We spent a ton of time on this introduction. So let's go on to your next paragraph. The fundamental idea of global cooperation to acquire the benefits for each side of the trade is to this day working efficiently. All right, again here, I want to change some things around. So I didn't like to this day here in between your verb. That was a little awkward. And also the benefits for each side of the trade. I didn't really understand what that means. I think you mean something else. I think you mean basically the benefits of trade, essentially. Okay, so let's try it again. The fundamental idea of global cooperation to acquire the benefits of trade is working, has been working efficiently until now. Okay? I think this is what you're trying to say. Most underdeveloped countries gain a massive advantage due to the possibility of economic advancement coming from the export of their goods to the places where they are desired. For example, after quitting the Soviet influence zone, the privatization of public corporations in Poland led to significant economic growth. Motivated by this history, countries can gain substantial wealth, vastly improving the lives of citizens. Okay, so the rest of that paragraph is fine. But the problem with it is that it's not particularly on topic, okay? It feels really like you're giving us some historical background here, which is very interesting, but it's not particularly on topic. You're supposed to talk about the benefits of international marketing, and I have not really felt like you've done that. You've talked a little bit about global cooperation, but that's far more general than what international marketing is. And you didn't really talk about the benefits of the marketing itself, like how is culture spread like this? How is language or how are ideas spread through this marketing? So as a paragraph, it was like I said, interesting, but not really covering the topic. Let's go on. On the other hand, due to a massive social effect of the import of foreign products, the individuality of culture may suffer. It was noticed in the history that if a country had not limited the cultural input from different parts of the world, its own traditions and products have been losing their popularity. For instance, in the United States, the constant arrival of the new concepts and influential people from other countries made citizens unaware of their heritage. It is why global marketing possesses significant risk for the country's culture. Okay, so I like the structure of this paragraph very much. It's absolutely correct in terms of how you're supposed to organize a paragraph. However, again, it's not really talking specifically about international marketing. It feels really like you're talking mostly about globalization in general, which, as I said, is related to international marketing, but they're certainly not the same topic. Okay, so you would get a lower band score for not being completely on topic. Okay, and then again, some of this was grammatically incorrect and also a little cumbersome in terms of how some of these ideas were expressed. So let's talk about that. So on the other hand, due to a massive social effect of the import of foreign products, again, it's a little wordy and it could have been made clearer. So you could have said something like, due to massive social effect of foreign products, the individuality of a culture may suffer. And then here, I was a little confused by some of your grammar. Okay, so let's look at it again. You had a really nice attempt at an advanced grammatical structure here. You had this conditional statement, but it was a little awkward. So let's look at it one more time. It was noticed that in the history, you mean it was noticed throughout history. I didn't really understand this. I think there was another way to say it. If a country had not limited the cultural input from different parts of the world, its own traditions and products would have lost their popularity. You see, this is a third conditional, okay? So this tense is wrong. And then I didn't even understand why you have to say it was noticed in history. Just get rid of it. Or you could have said, how about this? Throughout history, if a country had not limited the cultural input from different parts of the world, its own traditions and products had been lost. I mean, maybe something like that. For instance, in the United States, the constant arrival of new concepts without the and influential people from other countries made citizens unaware of their heritage. This is why global marketing possesses significant risk for the country's culture. All right, so here you mentioned global marketing, but in a very kind of on the surface way. This doesn't really feel like it's totally about global marketing or international marketing. Again, it felt like it was more about globalization in general. Okay, so I want you to be a little more aware of how to be on topic. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. To conclude, although embracing and protecting local traditions is necessary, the economic benefits of international marketing far outweigh the potential risks. It is the blessing of the 21st century, provided that sufficient care is taken of both the local economy and prosperity. It should be two. Significant care is taken. I'm not sure about this. I left it. Anyway, I liked your conclusion. I thought it was very nice. Let's see. I liked it. So for me, really, there were two issues in this essay. The first one was task achievement, that you were essentially talking about globalization throughout this essay and not more narrowly on international marketing. Okay? And this is really common. This happens to a lot of students who write this exam. So, this particular essay, forgive me. So, it's really far more common than you would imagine. And that's the good thing about that, is that it's something that can be easily solved. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is with the expression of some of these sentences, some of the language you used. Like I said, it was a little awkward in some places, a little cumbersome. So, one of the things that I would like to see from you is I'd like you to aim for a little more clarity in your sentences. I think sometimes in your attempt to write complex sentences, the meaning gets lost. And that's a shame, really, because I think that if you maybe started with sentences that were a little simpler, a little safer, then you could move on and you could then go to the next level and write some things that were a little more complex. Okay, so that's my feedback about this particular essay. You'll see that there are a number of options for you if you would like to work with us. I'd love to see you work with us because I think we could really, really assist you with your essay writing. So take a look at the options. My personal suggestion would be to see you sign up for an essay correction package. Of course, more comprehensive is the full online course, which covers all parts of the exam, and that's a wonderful resource because there's endless pieces of information about how to excel in the exam. I think yes, any of those would really be appropriate for you. So take a look, and if you enjoy this feedback, then I encourage you to sign up for more essays or for the online course to continue working with us. Okay, so best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing more of your writing soon. Good luck.